For this lesson, we will solve quadratic equations by factoring. So I have listed all the steps that you need to solve an equation that looks like this one. This equation is not equal to 0. So the first thing we need to do is make sure the equation is equal to 0 if you want to solve by factoring. So when we look at this equation, x squared plus 2x equals 15, we know that to equal to 0, we need to cancel 15. So in order to cancel 15, if I have positive 15, I will subtract 15 from both sides. So that way, this will cancel. So my equation now has changed. It is x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. So I have done the first step. The second step is find the factors to write the equation in factor form. So when you look here, you follow this arrow, you will see that you need a number that will multiply and give you negative 15 and that will add and give you 2. So these numbers are here. They came from your equation. So now I can look at the factors and I can see that negative 3 and 5 are the numbers that I need because negative 3 times 5 is negative 15 and negative 3 plus 5 is 2. So now I know that these two numbers are the factors that I need. So I'm going to set up my equation. I have found the factors and I'm going to write the equation in factor form. So I have x minus 3 and x plus 5. These numbers came from here. Okay? Step 4. Use the zero product property to solve the equation and find the x value. So let's see. I got the factors from here and I made them equal 0. So I have x plus 5 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. So now step 4 is done. So now I need to solve the equations. I have x plus 5 equals 0. I need to leave x by itself, so I need to cancel positive 5. So to cancel 5, I will subtract 5 from both sides. This way, 5 minus 5 equals 0. It will cancel. So my answer is x equals negative 5. So for this one is x minus 3 equals 0. So to cancel negative 3, I need to add 3. So negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. So my answer is x equals 3. So that's step 5. If you follow these steps, you'll be able to solve quadratic equations by factoring. Which expressions cannot be written in factor form? We will look at each one of them to see if they cannot be written in factor form. So when I look at this equation, I know it's 25 minus x squared. I notice that I do not have a number, a term that's with x. So I know that the x will cancel. So when I see this, I know that 5 times 5 equals 25, right? And I also know that if I put negative 5 times negative 5 is also 25. So let's look at here. We need to have it as factor form. So for this one is a little bit different because x is negative. X squared is negative. So I know that when I multiply x, so positive x times negative x will give me a negative x squared. So I know that One needs to be negative and one needs to be positive. And I know that 5 times 5 gives me 25. So let's check. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times x, positive x, is positive 5x. So now I will multiply these two. Negative x times 5 is negative 5x. And negative x times positive x is negative x squared. So when you look here, you can see it's very interesting because positive 5x and negative 5x will cancel. This is the reason why you don't have the term that has x. So your equation will be 25 minus x squared, which is what you have here, and it checks. So this equation can be written in factor form. We need the equations that cannot, the expressions that cannot be written in factor form. So for this one, b squared minus a squared is a little bit different because on this one, 25 minus x squared, you had a number. This one, we only have letters. So I know that inside the parentheses will be letters. We won't have any number. So here I have negative a squared. So I know that I have a here and a here, and I have negative a squared, which it means that I need one number that is positive and one number that is negative to give me negative a squared. And I have b squared. So b squared is b times b is b squared. So let's check. We'll multiply these two. B times b is b squared. B times negative a is negative ba. And I will multiply these two and these two. A times b, positive, positive, I can say is positive ba. And a times negative a is negative a squared. So on this one, you can also see that negative ba and positive ba will cancel. And you'll be left with b squared minus a squared, which is exactly what we have here. So that one also checks. For this one, we have x squared minus 144. So we know that there's a number that we multiply by itself. 12 times 12 equals 144. But we need negative 144. So one of these numbers are negative. So negative 12 times 12 is negative 144. So here, I know that we have x because I'm multiplying to get x squared. And I know that one number is negative 12 and the other one is positive 12. So let's see. We'll multiply to check our answer. X times x is x squared. X times positive 12 is positive 12x. So now we'll multiply these two. Negative 12 times x is negative 12x. Negative 12 times 12 is negative 144. So when you look here, negative positive 12x and negative 12x will cancel. And you are left with x squared minus 144. this one also checks. So now I have only two equations left, two expressions left, and we need to select two expressions. So I already know that these two cannot be factored, but we can check that. So we know that 4 times 4 is 16, and we need positive 16. And we also have x squared. So when you write it in factor form, we have x here to give me x squared, and we have positive plus 4, okay, to give me positive 16. So if I do this, x times x is x squared, x times 4 is 4x, positive. Now this one, we have 4 times x and 4 times 4. 4 times x, positive 4, positive x is positive 4x, and 4 times 4 is positive 16. So we did get positive 16 and we did get x squared. However, when you add 4x plus 4x, you get 8x. So your expression will be this. So this one cannot be written in factor form. So let's check this one. So we know that 10 times 10 equals 100. And we have 100 that is positive. So I know inside my parentheses I will have 10, and y squared is positive, so I will have positive y. When I multiply, 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times y is 10y. And then I multiply these two. 10 times y is 10y. It is positive. And y times y is y squared. So here, I know that positive 10 and positive 10y will give me 20. So your equation will look like 100 plus 10 plus 10 is 20y plus y squared. So no, this equation cannot be written, this expression cannot be written in factor form. So for this one, it's similar to what we did in the previous page. So we have an expression and we want to write it in factor form. We can still use the t-charts that we used before. So negative 16. So this number needs to multiply. We need to find two numbers that multiply and give me negative 16, but that add and give me 0 because I do not have the term that has x. So I know that 4 times 4 equals 16, but I need negative 16, so I will make one of the 4's negative. So negative 4 times 4 is negative 16, and negative 4 plus 4 equals 0. So I know that my factors will be x, because I have to multiply to get x squared, and positive 4 and negative 4. So here I know that this is the correct answer, x minus 4x plus 4. I will let you go ahead and use what we did in number 2, the previous page, to solve this equation. For this one, match each expression in factor form with its equivalent expression in standard form. So we know that this is standard and this is factored. Okay, so we can do it this way. We can multiply the factors to see which standard expression we can match to. So we can multiply y times y and y times negative x. Y times y is y squared. Y times negative x, I would say negative yx. It doesn't matter if you say yx or xy, it doesn't matter. So now I will multiply x times y and x times negative x. So positive x times positive y will give me positive yx, and then x times negative x will give me negative x squared. So here I can see that negative yx and positive yx will cancel, and my expression will be y squared minus x squared. So the one that says y squared minus x squared is number 2. So we got number 2. So I'm going to do another example, and I'm going to let you go ahead and work on letters C and D. So first I will multiply 11 times 11 is 121. 11 times negative x is negative 11x. Now 11 times x and 11 times x squared. 11 times x is positive 11x because both numbers are positive. And 11 and x times negative x is negative x squared. So we can see that negative 11 and positive 11 will cancel. So we got left with 121 minus x squared. So 121 minus x squared is number 1. So I know that this one I could have figured out that 11 times 11 is 121, and I needed positive 121, and I needed one negative x and one positive x. So I know that the factors that multiply 121 that would cancel would be negative 11 and positive 11 will equals to 0. And well, that one will be negative 121. So I need the x to be 0. This is a different one. You can apply that to the next one that we're going to do. So we can do, so let's do letter C, since I was talking about that. Negative 11 and positive 11. So for this one, this is the one that I was talking about because I need negative 21 for the answer. I know this will be 4 because negative 11 times positive 11 will give me negative 121. So that's how you can figure out. And negative 11x and positive 11x will cancel. So let's check this out. So x times x is x squared. X times positive 11 is positive 11x. Then I have negative 11x. I'm going to multiply negative 11 to negative 11. So negative 11 times x is negative 11x. Negative 11 times positive 11 is negative 121. So that's how I figured it out before without even doing all the factoring, because I could figure out that positive 11 and negative 11 would cancel, and they would also give me 121, negative 121. So x squared minus 121. So this is number 4. So I will let you go ahead and do letter D. So x minus y and x minus y. So you can go ahead and work on that one. So for this one, number 5, we have which of the following represents the equation x squared minus 12x plus 11 in factor form. So for this one, you know that you need to multiply to get 11, positive 11, and you need to add to get negative 12. So when I do this, I know that the only two numbers that I can multiply to give me 11 is 11 times 1. That gives me positive 11. I also can get negative 11, negative 1 times negative 11 will also give me positive 11. So when I look on this side, I need these two factors to add and give me negative 12. So the first one, 1 plus 11, will give me positive 12, but I need negative 12. So when I add negative 1 plus negative 11, that will give me negative 12. So for this one, the factors that I need are negative 1 and positive and negative 11. So when I set up the factor form, I will have x, and I will have these numbers are going to go here, negative 11 and negative 1. So when I look on the top, the one that is the same is x minus 11 and x minus 1, and that's the exact answer that I got here. So this one is exactly what you did in number 5. So I will let you go ahead and work on this one by yourself. So we know that we need a number that will multiply and give you negative 15, and that will add and give you 2. So which of the following are the solutions for the equation? When you talk about the solution, we want the two values of x. Okay? So that means that we're going to have to follow the steps that we did in the first page. Okay? This equation is already equal to 0, so you do not have to do number 1. But you do need to find the factors that will give you multiply to give you negative 6 and add to give you negative 5. So at the end, you're going to set up your factors equal to 0. So you can find the answers for x. And that will be step number 6. This is step number 6. I will go ahead and let you refer to the first page, to the organizer, where I listed all the steps that you need to solve the equation and find the solutions for x. This one, you can also refer to the organizer. So when you look at the organizer, on this one, we have all the steps listed, okay? So the first step is to set the equation equal to 0 if your equation is not already equal to 0. So the equation that we had in problem number 8, okay? So the equation we have in problem number 8 is x squared plus 6x minus 13 equals 3. So is this equation equal to 0? No. So which step are you going to do in order for the equation to equal to 0 so you can solve the equation by factoring? So you can go back to number 8 and it says type all in the calculator. Is that step 1? So we want to know step 1. Make the equation equal 0 by subtracting 3 on each side. Get factored form. Find two numbers which multiply to make negative 13 and add to make 6. You can go ahead and look at the organizer and choose your answer.